Good morning. It is Tuesday, nearly 8 o'clock in the morning for me. I'd actually planned to get started earlier, but things just kind of dwindled on and I didn't. But probably just as well. So it seems like we're kind of starting on time since 8 o'clock is around the usual. I'm going to go ahead and do my tweet just so that is out there and taken care of. So we are back on my alts plot where we did the CBDC. Yesterday we finished up the little protostar themed operation game. I will say we've been having a nice big response from fellow builders out there that have been putting together some games. Just got a message from another one that's done a snakes and ladders game, and it's actually apparently playable in the way that you do like slash roll while you're in the group and you just kind of follow along. So really looking forward to showcasing these at the end of the month. In the meantime, as well, we got one that did a Hearthstone, Noxtrama style Hearthstone game, which is really fun. It's interesting to see the different types of games people pick. I think there's another one that's working on a pool table at the moment. So should be lots and lots of ideas, both new and old. And when I say old, I mean ideas that have been done before, but done differently, you know, their own flair to it. Now, today we're going to do a small quickie game kind of thing, and then we'll probably move off to the bakery to work on some deals over there. So what I thought I'd try and do is a dartboard. Now, I know we already have a dartboard, so it's not that I'm clueless that we have one. There's actually one on the vendor. It's a really nice one. It's for those that want one that's already got the darts and stuff set up on it, and also a knife sticking out of it. They can do that, or they can flip it around and have it relatively flat. There's a little bit of the knife sticking out at the back, I think, but you know, if you want to just do it that way, that's fine. But for those that want to do their own, maybe choose different colors and stuff, morning bones. Glad you could join us. But yeah, I just wanted to see if I could make one out of the materials that we have available to us, even if you don't want to build your own, because it is costly when you customize stuff like this. You know, it may be like 15-20 pieces as opposed to just the one if you have it. Good morning, Faye. Glad you could join us. And so that's fine, but sometimes when you custom stuff, it gives you ideas for other things, kind of like, for instance, when we were building the party tent on my Easter plot, the way the tent got built, it ended up giving me the idea for the ballerina painting and a new hat for my hat store, that kind of stuff. So it's always fun to tinker around, even if there's existing things in the game for those, like the toilet and the sinks and things. It's always fun to try building your own, because it might lead to other ideas for other things. Like, for instance, the reason I'm going to put this dartboard together the way that I'm going to try and put it together is because of the pizza I made in the past. We don't have too many nice triangle pieces. I mean, we have triangle building blocks, but they're not exactly the right angles all the time. They're a little wider than a lot of people might like. So I favor the cheese chunks, the blockless cheese wedges. So I started out with, or I'm starting out with a vent tank. I like it for the relatively full-on black. You can see it's not completely black, it's a little bit more gray, both on the edges and in the center, but it's relatively flat. I mean, it's pretty close. There's a little bit of a pucker right there, but not too bad. There's probably other items out there, but this is the easiest that I've gotten hold of off the housing vendor. I use it a lot for like facial features if I want to do eyes or mouths or little details, like the faces of the swans that I did for the swans painting, the black part on their face. That's what those are. So it's usually my go-to item if I'm looking for something black. Okay, so that's going to be our base, and I've just randomly sized it. I kind of evened it up. I think I had it at 3.83, and I just rounded it off to 3.8. So it's not that I'm saying, okay, it has to be 4, and then we're going to, size it down differently every time. I just pick a random size. It's a little on the big side, obviously, but like I said, I like to build big sometimes, and then size it after I'm done putting it together. So to make our little divisions of the dartboard, I don't know what you call them, the sections or whatever, let's grab some cheese. I had lots of extra, so again, when I'm building, a lot of times I'll look through what's already in my crate and see if there's a way I can incorporate items I already have into a new build rather than buying new things, because I don't know, I'm cheap, I guess. So using, oh, for like the hole on the cheese or just the like the ends of them, I'm not sure how you mean. But pockets on the pool table, yeah, that would be kind of interesting. They make great pizzas though. I've seen someone else use them as pizza slices. So I'm just going to stick this in here, and I don't want the edges too much showing, so we're just going to kind of center this down, and I'm going to pop it up big enough where it's kind of reaching the center. It's a little off, so I'm going to size it just a little bit. So I'm looking at that center. You can just barely make it out, and hoping that works. Oh, the vent tanks. Oh, okay. Yeah, those work great for holes. I've used them for mouse holes. I did them for the golf course that I made way back when. Used them as the holes for that. They're just, I don't know, they're very, again, it's one of my favorite items among, the cheese wedges, the bananas, the travel posters. They all have multiple uses, so I use them a lot. They're cheap, they're handy, and so they go into a lot of my builds. Okay, so that's one slice, and since this is conveniently segmented, this round, it's not perfectly round, you have the little segments. I'm using those as my guide to kind of determine the angle that the slice is in and just kind of match it up. And try and get the center as best I can to kind of meet up where it should. It's probably not going to be perfect, but nothing I ever built is, so that's no surprise. Okay, so there's the two slices there. So now we go again, and notice again, I'm not checking angles or anything. I'm just eyeballing it pretty much. That's my favorite thing to do, just eyeball it. Hey Poi, glad you could join us. And then one more. Now, probably it would be better if I could split it up even more with more wedges, but I'm keeping it simple for myself, for my sanity. There we go, we have the initial, and you know, even though it's not white, it's still enough of a contrasting color that it stands out nicely. You know, maybe you don't want the traditional black and white looking little dartboard, you want the yellow and black, or maybe use something round that's green like the bottom of the uh, the leafy stalks here as an example. You could use one of those instead for the base if you want an orange themed dartboard and have green and yellow or something like that. That would work really nice. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to make a set of this. So first I need to link items, and since it's so few items, it's just quicker and easier for me to just link them individually. You can use the other methods that we've discussed before, but for me this is just quicker. And I'm going to place the link. I'm going to pull it out, and because the thing isn't showing up, I'm going to drop it and then pull it up again. So we're at 380 for the big guys, so let's see. Trying to decide how I want to go that 3. Yeah, 3 looks better. And I want there to be like a line kind of dividing the two bits. So do it like that. And then, so that one's at 380 and this one is at just 3, so that left right at the 80 mark. Okay, so let's do a place solid link again. I'm just guessing about the increments here, just whatever looks right. That looks okay. And then again. Now you could just redo the set and start with the uppermost and just kind of shrink it down from there, but I don't know, I just find it easier, so just stick with the original. It's 2-inch. That looks about right. Now again, it's kind of getting that little, you know, this might be good for a shield. Somebody wants to make a wall of shields and swords and stuff. This would be a goofy idea for that pattern. I guess that's all right. I think we'll leave it about there. I don't want to go any more smaller than that because, yeah, see the cheese starts to disappear after a certain size, so I don't want to shrink it up any more than that. So there's our little line, so you have the different groupings, that kind of thing. So now what to do for a dart. We have actual playing darts in the game, but I want to say they're either random drops or you have to go for a vendor or something. So let's see if we can make our own. Probably the closest thing that you can buy cheap and just modify a little bit would be the rockets. You've got your choice of the star rocket or the gray rocket, the singles. Let's just put this out here. And basically what you have to add is some kind of a little needle thing on there for them. So what can you use as the needle? You want something kind of silvery, probably. The closest I can think of that might be quick and doable. It's not going to be as tapered as the actual dart, the playable dart that we have, but it might still work. But the thing that comes to mind for me is the hammer. So what I would do is I would just take one of the rockets. Well, that worked grand. And size the hammer down so that the head of the hammer is pretty much hidden, but you still get the little pointy bit. It's going to be tough because the nose of the rockets are pretty tapered. And you can't go too small, otherwise you're not going to see the end of the hammer enough. That looks okay. Sort of. You could probably use a sparking wire. That might work better. It'll be black, but at least you'd have that nice long. You could make it as long as you want. Hey, Maddie. Glad you could join us. Yeah, icicle would work too. That would probably be even better. It might be a little crinkly. It's not going to be nice and straight, but let's try that. Let's set this one up right here. Let's see if we can find a good icicle. Like, I think you use these for needles, if I remember right, on your sewing machines. I probably should not do that. I'll just do it like this. I'll eyeball it. I don't know, does that look a little too long for that thing? Something like that. So there's two different options to see. Another thing besides those or the sparking wire, you could probably resort to using if you want to go all natural, and rather than, I guess, maybe not using the rockets, you could probably find something other like the thorny logs as the little pointy bit, maybe the handle of the mop. Trying to think what else is long and pointed. Or you might could just use some of the chains, maybe put several together. That seems a little excessive, but it's possible, I guess. We just don't have a lot of, I mean, you could probably use a pillar, you know, some of the pillars as well. If you sink the head, the little bulky part on the end a little bit into the wall or whatever. But yeah, we don't have too many sharp pointy bits that would work as convenient. Let's link these two together. And of course, we don't need them that big. Something like that. Now you have your own little dartboard. So do this one as well. Just as an example. How it might look if you go with the hammer instead. Icicle definitely shows up better, I think. And the smaller rocket seems to work a little better than the longer one, I think, as well. There you go. We got our own little custom-built dartboard. Now you could get fancy, build yourself one of those dartboard boxes that has like the little hinge doors that you close and open if you want to play and all that. Well, I thought about the pointy totem, but I think at a smaller size it gets really hard to see it. At least the icicle, even though it's really fine, it's bright enough in color that it still shows up pretty nice. Let's see. Let's see how the pointy totem looks. Because that's the main thing when you come into these little details. The smaller you go, the worse some of the items become. It's a little on the dark side as well. But yeah, it could be a viable one. Whoa. A little. Woo. Kind of like so. It's probably not exact because I didn't match them up perfectly, but pretty close. I think the icicle suggestion was probably the best. It shows up the brightest of all three that we're using currently. It really just depends on the materials you have on hand. Again, you know, it's really up to you, but I like that there's several options depending on, you know, what you want. Hey Lay, good morning. So that is the dartboard. Again, like I said, you could box it up, put hinge doors on it, make it look all fancy. You could even add like on the inside of the door, maybe have a little scoreboard kind of thing going on. It's just like for those that have been trying to make certain games, like Bones was talking about the pool table. You know, I've seen some just keep it really simple. They've just got the tabletop, the holes, a couple of balls, and a cue stick. But I've seen some get more elaborate. They have the little triangle, the little ball rack that you put all the balls together. They have the little pool cube rack on the wall. They've got like a little tray underneath where the balls collect as they fall through the pockets. They collect at the back. A little hanger for the little triangle pool thingy. I don't know what it's called. Like the little rack thing. Some have actual little like nets or bags, because sometimes the pool table has like an automatic thing where the ball just kind of goes through the bottom and it pops out there. Others, you have little bags or netting for each hole, and you have to actually reach in and grab them and empty it out. But you could probably do it either way. And of course, for balls, I've seen folks use the files, the actual sporty spheres. I think the files are probably the favorite, the tall file, because it's really bright and shiny. The sporty spheres, it's okay, but it's one of those items, the smaller you make it, the more readily it disappears at a certain distance. So it's not particularly ideal if the balls happen to be of a certain size, depending on how big your pool table is. They're a little tricky. As far as pool cubes, I've seen people use I've used the pointy rake and spear thing that we use for the pointer there. But I've seen all sorts of things on that as well, including just sized down pillars and like 2 or 3 of them together, the ends of the mops, the sparking wires, a variety of things. For the foosball tables, plushies obviously are the favorite for the little things that flip. Yeah, the files are usually the favorite for any kind of ball. I've seen those used for like if you make a bowling, little bowling alley, like a single lane. I've seen the files used as the pins and the balls. I would imagine you could use the vent tanks as the holes for the fingers. We don't have too many just round objects. I mean, we have the domes. You can sandwich 2 of those together to make a ball for that. But and probably the Chua or the Draken one, not Draken, the Granite one would work best for like a bowling ball because it has that marbly look. But it would probably be really nice for a bowling ball. But for other pins, I've seen vent tanks used as that. Different bottles are often the fave. I've even seen people use the hologram Elden Relic when you had the chance to get multiples of those, which most of us don't. I've seen those used as it for like a holographic bowling thing where you just kind of shoot it through and it registers what kind of pins you knock down. For like a basketball court, I don't know what you could use as the net. I would assume you'd try and use something like the Chua netting, but because of the way the handles on that work, it might look a little weird. But you could get away with kind of patching together several of those new Osun floor grate things like that we used on the fan. Maybe several of those patched together to make a little hoop. And then of course the sporty sphere or a couple of domes together to make a ball for the basketball court. Just trying to throw out some ideas for those that are looking for some inspiration on things they might want to put together, but that's the only things that come to mind for me. Yeah, so let's over to the bakery, give the CBDC stuff a rest for a little while. I mentioned that I was wanting to install some lighting for the park, and I think that's what we'll work on today to finish off today's stream. That and maybe work on trying to come up with another candy for the little sweets section. But Oops, I turned that off. First things first, I want to see about getting the right size for the lighting. I want there to be some light showing on the ground, so I can't make it too small, otherwise the light doesn't show up. But I don't want it where it has to be so close that for some of the characters it look like their heads would hit. So I imagine like it looks about right for my character, but for the taller ones, it might be just cutting it close. It's the same way with the roofing here. I was concerned about whether people would feel like their character could actually, in reality, walk under that without hitting their head. So I'm probably playing it pretty close to the limits there. But I think this is about a good size. It lights up a little bit on the ground. It'd probably be more noticeable in the dark. So what we mainly need is some kind of a light pole. Now, if you look at the lighting section, you can see some examples of some of those. Yeah, here's the lamppost. So there's this one, the desert kind style. Got this crooked wooden pole with a bit of rock. And see, we got the vent tank for, I guess, the fuel to power the light. Then you have this green one, a little more fancy. It's got the wire wrapped around it so that that's the supply, the power source for that one. A little bit of wood bit. Notice the running theme is there's some kind of a little dangly thing where that hangs out on. And then here's the ichthyme one, which is a little different. It just looks like a water bowl stuck on top. And there's lots of other ones. Some are animated where they kind of blow in the wind. They all got their own different kinds of looks, and we're going to try and put something together for this one. Since I've kind of gone pretty straight and clean and a little bit of metal, a little bit of stone. There's stone bits here. This is a little bit of stone trimming. I don't think we have to stick with anything in particular, but it would be nice to kind of match it up a little bit. So let's see what we've got available. Trying to think of things, maybe a statue or some kind of a fence post would work. So I'm going to look through the fences first, see what I have on hand. Like this, but if we just had the single, that would work great if we had just the bar itself. I like how this is called the fence post, and it's got like all this extra garbage stuck on it. Looks basically like this, except it's not got that little trim on there. Weird. That almost looks like a lamp just on its own. It's got the little overhang. That's got the excess rope, which we don't want. This is what I used for the, I think for the bottom of one of my other lamps, because I liked the nice yellow base. If you want to go Oran, these would be good for an Oran themed light post. Really not a lot of choices here. This one's probably the closest. I just hesitate to use it again since I've already done it once. Let's check out statues and stuff. Now when I'm custom building, I always try to avoid things like chairs, benches, doors, lights, anything that's interactable. I try to steer clear of those because if I'm going to use them in a way that isn't how they're meant to be, it usually looks a little weird. I know a lot of people like to use the benches and stuff, especially like the Dominion bench, for like walls and bridges and making their spaceship hulls and stuff like that. But when you mouse over it and it lights up all with that green, it just looks funny to me, so I try to avoid using those. That's just a personal preference of mine. That's what I'm using for that there. Let's see, do I have anything in the crate already? It's weird that these are in statues and sculptures. Or maybe not weird, I don't know. Because I think the other skulls and stuff that we have are considered toys and loot. I may end up using the one that I'm not really keen on using. Let's try that. Gonna really size it up a lot, I think. This is that new spade thingamabob. The one where from the front it looks fine, it looks almost like a shovel, and then from the back it's hollow in the center. So it looks more like, I don't know, if you put a third prong in there, it might look like a trident or something. Why it does that, I'm not sure. But it's weird. We have a lot of objects that do that. It's kind of like the treasure pile. You know, if you put it upright, it looks like a mound of gold with some vases and stuff. You turn it upside down and it's hollow and clear, and all you see are the broken bits of vases and things. It's kind of strange. Probably pretty good for someone that's trying to do some buried treasure or something in the sand and don't want the gold. You just want the vases, then you can turn it upside down and get parts of those for that. But I don't know. It seems a little weird that that would be hollow on the one side. Okay, so I'm gonna really size this up. Wow, look at the shine on that. That might be too big for what I'm wanting. We will see though. Whoops, just completely reset that, didn't I? Let's see. It'd be better if this was down here, I think, but just because of the way I have to use this particular item, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Let's see if I shrink it just a little bit more. And then add a second one. Apparently this is a little crooked because it's not centering up like it did. Maybe something like that. Strange little light pole. But it's nice. It's only 3 items. You could probably just leave this off. Probably doesn't even really need that. Do it like this. We'll just do it like so. Whoa, 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 whoa. You could probably just get a clump of grass and call it good. Be a little bit more round, but we'll do it like that. There's our first light pole. It's not exactly center, so let me fix that. That's pretty good. A light pole with just 2 pieces, or 3 if you count the grass. That's not too expensive decor-wise. Not like the one I did for the other place, which was like, I think it was 4 or 5 pieces altogether. And now I'll probably want to repeat that on the other side as well. Probably not directly, because it'll probably interfere with the little drink cart here. But definitely needs some kind of lighting going on. What would be fantastic is if we could get some lighting bits that didn't have all these little, so you could make the lamp look like anything you want and just have the light source sitting inside, kind of like a particle effect. That's what I would like to see. It like so. Just trying to decide where I want these. Maybe 4 poles, 1 on each side here, and then 1 on each side there. That way I don't have to worry about it being hanging right over the drink cart. So then what you do is you just do another set. See, that was our dartboard, so we'll just add this one. You got the 3 pieces. And then just place and link. Back it over. I'm going to change this up a little bit. Oops. So it doesn't look exactly like the other one. And I'm going to bring, oh, it's not letting me remove it. Put this away. Need to turn this one all the way around. Kind of about where it was, sort of in the middle of the bench. Pretty close. Good enough. I'm going to clear this just so I don't have to rotate it again. Sometimes it's good to have a build that's kind of mirrored, and sometimes it's not. There we go. Man, my stomach is really growling. I didn't have any breakfast yet, so on my to-do list. Okay, there's that. Yes, I know the lighting isn't really strong considering it's already, you know, it's nighttime here, but it's just the idea that it's a lit up thing. It would be nice if this was more lit, you know, I could put like some kind of spotlighting stuff on, but can't really have it just hanging in midair. If you put spotlights on the ground, I don't think I have any, but like if you like use the Chua spotlight or whatever, some of those are really hard light, probably the best way to describe it. And I would prefer softer light, and usually though the softer light has to be relatively close or really large to make an impact as far as the lighting it goes, and it just won't suit here. So it's just better to visit in the daytime when you come here. If you want to get a little persnickety, you could add some flowers to your trimmed yard, but I think I'm just going to leave mine pretty flat. I like the flat grass. You don't have to contend with everything blowing in the wind. Okay, so now we have this lone little tree here. I'd like to add one over here as well, so it's this thing's probably expensive because there's like tons of bushes there. It doesn't look like it looks like two big clumps, but it's like umpteen pieces. Yeah, that tree is 25 pieces, so it's basically 24 bramble bushes and one stem for the trunk. And that costs 12 gold to make. Crazy, crazy. There we go. Now we have 2 trees. Let's see, that reminds me. My guildmates were here this past Saturday. We did a bingo event, and one of them pointed out that there was a gap here, so I'm going to fix this while I'm thinking of it. It was originally all smooth and everything, and then I adjusted some of the spacing and forgot to fix it all, so let me just do that real quick. There we go. All fixed. Okay, so ideas for candies. I need one more tray of something there. Be it cookies or chocolates or whatever. The trick of this top tray is it has to be items that don't have anything excessive stuck underneath. For example, these candies here, if I were to lift them up, you'd see that there's all kinds of things hooking out the bottoms. We got pillows and bananas and things like that. All right, Bones, thanks for joining, and don't work too hard. Same way with these cookies, they're actually parts of really big uh, pots. This one's a combination of pots, but again, it's the really tall one. So I'm using the benefit of having the bottom of the countertop to hide what I don't want showing. My last ditch effort would probably be to move these cookies to the top tray, and then that gives me a little bit more freedom over what I can place on the bottom. But someone asked me, what's this one? Why is it floating? And it was because I was checking, I was testing things, setting them on here to see what was poking through the bottom. It's like my tester area. So it probably looks confusing to those that visit and wonder why there's a floating tray here, but that's why it was my tester tray for when I was making these other things to see what stuck through the bottom and what didn't. But yeah, I can either move the chocolate covered cream-filled pastries to the top or these cookies to the top. The only thing that bugs me is I kind of like that these are sectioned into little, like this is the cookies, this is the cream-filled pastries, this is the chocolates, and this is like some extra bits. But, you know, if worse comes to worse, if I can't find anything that really fits and looks like a dessert, then I'll just move one of these up to the top, and then that'll give me a little more freedom over what I can put on the bottom. So, what to do? When I'm looking for desserts, I look for colorful items. So that could be just about anything that's got something bright on it. I thought about maybe making some kind of like little marshmallow puffs with the pearls. I'm also interested in finding colors that I don't already have. So I've got some greens and blues and white, lots of white. So really looking for something, you know, colorful that I don't already have too much of. That's probably asking a lot, but so I don't know what else we could make. What other kind of desserts are there? I know there's, I thought about maybe cheating and just making like little tartlets, like baby tarts, baby pies, kind of thing like that. I have no clue what we could try. I'm also really interested in putting together another kind of dark bread. Missing something here. I don't mind this gap so much, but this one's a little too much for me. It's too spacey, so I need something else. So some kind of a brown or orangey brown, like a copper color, that will work as some kind of a bread. But I have no idea what to use. Just looking at different bits to see what there might be. This part of, you know, that's one of the reasons why when I come to do these streams, I usually try to be a little on the prepared side. I already have an idea in mind, because when you're brainstorming and stuff, that's the drawn out and boring part, because you're just clicking through a lot of items or Googling a lot of images trying to come up with something that looks usable. And that's not very interesting for most people. I don't know. Another thing that I usually look for, especially when it's something like the breads or the candies and stuff, I try to look for things that I don't have to craft, just in case somebody else wants to use them for their plot. You know, there's more than one place that, you know, it doesn't have to be a bakery to have bread. I mean, maybe somebody wants a loaf of bread on their table, or a candy on a dish in their bedroom or something. So a lot of these things could be used elsewhere than just a bakery, but it's got a really weird pattern on the back of that skull. Arches, arched. I thought about making some donuts. I know we could probably use the tubes, like which is yeah. Is it down quite a bit though? The thing I'm concerned about is they'll have to be pretty small. I mean, look at that. We don't want like mega-sized donuts. I mean, look at. Wow. And notice how it doesn't really show up very well on the this particular deal. I'd probably have to use like the Orin one, possibly the Granok one. That might work okay. Let's see, curves. The Cassian one's too shiny, so the Orin one would probably not that. It's curved wall. Granok would probably be okay. Draken might look like it's got sprinkles on it, but I think it's also a little on the dark side. Cassian's too shiny. And the Orin one. I don't know why that one's doing that way. Just ignore it. Oh, for crying out loud. I'll do a reload. For some reason, if the create it and the place it gets a little mixed up, it kind of works a little bit. By the way, for those of you wondering, my son went to the doctor yesterday. It's just a stomach thing. She says that he has to kind of wait it out, but he is home again today. He's still asleep, in fact. Okay, let's try this again. See, I can't even hardly see that on there. That's just not good. Oh, come on. This one might work as like a powdered donut, sort of. A really big powdered donut. Notice I'm just eyeballing putting it together. Not like the centering is correct because of the way it's made. Yeah, boy, there's really not much he can do. She did suggest he could use like the probiotics, which is supposed to help try and get your stomach back in order, but it's just one of those things. It's kind of like a cold. You just have to be patient. There's like a powder donut thing. It's a little floaty above the thing, but we could probably change that a little bit. It might be tough trying to put some kind of sprinkle stuffs on it. Mike could make it look like it's got a chocolate topping on it. Sort of like a double something. I don't know. Let's see what the granite one looks like. It's a tube. And it's about the same. For a real powder donut, probably the best would be to use the ice blocks. The only reason I was kind of avoiding those is because I've been using those in a lot of stuff. But probably the arches would work best. It's not exactly rounded, and they do disappear once they're pretty small. Because if you remember, I tried to use them for lettering over here, and they were pretty big there, and they just disappear really fast. It's a shame, really, because I would love to use them for lettering and stuff, but from a distance it's not feasible. But these would definitely show up really nice for a donut kind of thing. And get this flat. Again, the rotating is a little different, so you have to kind of just match it up best you can. There's a little kind of roundish white powder donut thingy. What I'd probably do is make it big so that I can better line up the edges, and then change that a little bit better. Again, for coating, you could use the Exile one for a little bit of chocolating. A chocolate top. Be better if you could kind of get it almost like it's like a drizzle. That would probably work even better. Can't think of anything off the top of my head that would work really nice with that way, but the sprinkles that I used for the cupcake I don't think would work in this instance because there's too much sticking out. Again, I'm looking for something that's relatively flat, so I want to keep this pretty simple. Now I could just add some other kind of little decoration on it, but maybe just the white donuts would be enough. I don't know, it seems a little cheesy. I like trying to put something together rather than just the round. I'll have to give it some thought. But yeah, I think we're going to go ahead and close it up for today. That way I can kind of check on the boy. I need to get him up so that he doesn't sleep the entire day away. Even if he just lounges on the couch, it's better that he's sitting up and helping his stomach do its digestive thing. And he really needs to get some food in as well, at least some fluids if nothing else. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Tomorrow we do have house tours going on. I went through this morning looking through Dominion side to see if there was some activity over there. For the moment, I haven't seen much, so we may end up doing a couple of exile homes tomorrow instead. But I will make that decision probably later this evening before I settle on the idea. But we will be doing some kind of house tours tomorrow. So be sure and join us for that, if nothing else. Even if you don't watch any of the other shows, the house tours is really a big thing because it's showcasing other people's work. It's not just my junk. And it's a great opportunity to see a variety of themes and approaches to similar themes. You know, we've seen a lot of spaceships, but not a one looks the same. While they use some of the same materials, to use them in different manners. So it's a really good opportunity to be inspired with different materials, different building styles, and different themes, of course. And you never know what might trigger a thought in your own head as to, hey, that might work for this or that. So that's definitely Wednesdays are the time to hit the channel. Anyway, I hope you guys have a great day. It's looking to be a little overcast and muggy for us. Hopefully it's better weather for you guys. Thank you for joining. Thank you for the tweets, the retweets, the follows, the votes, all of that stuff. I really appreciate the support and the encouragement everyone gives, and hopefully we'll keep on keeping on. Until then, have a great day, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.